Okay, so this is a follow-up video to my OX Stomp, Universal OX Stomp video that I posted a few days back where I mentioned that I was having an issue connecting to the app. And again, just to recap, sometimes I could connect to the app, but most of the times I couldn't. Sometimes the Bluetooth wouldn't connect, and other times it would say I was connected. I'd have a solid blue light. My iPad would say I was connected, and then I would tap on the on the app, on the tile, I should say. I think that's what they call it here, and wouldn't open. Obviously, I'm not connected to it now. So I guess first I just want to thank some of the folks on YouTube. Gave me some suggestions, and also I was on the Universal Audio forum, and I got a number of suggestions there. And yeah, I tried them all, and I also, as I mentioned in my last video, was working with my tech contact over at Sweetwater and explaining the problem to him. And at the end of the day, I mean, we tried all the usual stuff. We checked to make sure I had the latest firmware, which I do. He confirmed what iOS version I was using, which is 15.8. And what we ended up doing, which actually did work, and let me back up. We did all the usual stuff, unplugged it, plugged it back in. I got out of the app. I also closed all the other Bluetooth connections that I had because somebody suggested that. They said, well, maybe that's interfering with it. So I closed all the other Bluetooths. But anyway, getting back to the one thing that did work, although it was only temporary, we did a complete factory reset. After we did the factory reset, it asked me to pair the device just like it did on the day I got it. And I had to register it, and it worked. And I was able to go in there and have access to the app and, change the I guess, the cabs and the mic settings and all that. And I played around with it for like a half hour. And then I got out of it, just like I did on the day I got it. And I went to go back into it, and I had all the same issues again. So yeah, so that issue has not been resolved. The second issue I mentioned on my video was I was saying that when I would switch between rigs, some rigs would be louder than others. And somebody pointed out to me, and it was a very good point, that I only had the mono line in. I did not have it in stereo. And what I must have did when I did have access to the app, I think what I probably did, I was playing around in there, and I must have panned one of the mics. Maybe it was mic 1. I must have panned that over to one side. Maybe it was all the way to the left, to the right, whichever way it was. And because I was using this in mono and not stereo, on my board, when I panned to the hard left or right, I couldn't hear at all. So it all makes perfect sense. I guess I assumed that if you're only using this for mono, I assumed that it would default and the panning of the mics would be back into the center. But that's not the case. So just be aware that if you're using this, I guess, if you're out playing somewhere and let's say you can't use the stereo, you only have one line, that was my issue there. So those were the two issues. Now, I do have a third issue. Kind of a near fatal issue that's going on that arose, and give me a minute and I'll talk about what that is now. Yeah, so I now have a third issue, which is basically the stop is hardly working at all now. And what I mean by that is it powers up and all, and I get, lights and everything on here, is I can hardly hear any of the devices I have connected to it. And all the devices I had before, when I say devices, I mean different preamps and amps and all that, I can't hear them anymore. I could hear them a few days ago, and all of a sudden, like maybe a day ago, this started. So for example, and I'm not going to demo all this in the interest of time. You're going to have to take my word for it. But for example, when I have this OCD preamp distortion pedal hooked up, even with the volume pinned, I don't hear a thing now. 4 days ago, it was cranking. My other pedal, this Tonex, when I hook this up, I disconnect the cabs on here and I just have the amp go through here. I can't hear it. Nothing. And then I tried my orange amp with the effects send, just the preamp. Couldn't hear a thing. So then I tried my orange amp with the speaker out, again going through a load box, and I can't hear that at all either. The only thing I can hear is my 50-watt Marshall amp, and I have to have the master pretty cranked up in order to hear that. Now, I first noticed this problem when I was playing my Marshall. I'm like, it seems like I got to keep turning the volume up. And at first I thought maybe there's a problem with the amp. It's an old amp, maybe it needs new tubes or something. So just process of elimination, I disconnected everything. I reconnected the speaker instead of using the load box so I could hear the amp in the room. And it's it's as loud as a Marshall could be, right? Yeah, the further up that master goes, the more my house shakes. So I knew that wasn't the problem. Then I was thinking, well, maybe the load box is starting to go, or there's an issue with that. And I tested that, connecting it directly to my mixing board using both my Marshall and my orange, and that's perfectly fine. So something over the last couple days has caused this to no longer really work right. And and as I said earlier, or from my other videos, I didn't have a problem with the Stomp box at all. It was the Bluetooth and the app thing that was my main issue. Now I have this other issue here, and I'm not sure what the heck caused it. Was it a defective I don't know what's in here, board or chip? Could my load box have done something? I mean, that's the whole idea of a load box. You basically come out of the speaker out of your amp, and the load box acts as a speaker so you don't blow your amp out, but it also protects whatever you're plugging the load box into. But I don't know, did that cause a problem? Just not sure. But bottom line is, yeah, this is not not working right. And I did let my tech contact that I've been dealing with on the on the Bluetooth issue, I let him know, and he offered to, and by the way, I was going to send this back anyway because of the Bluetooth issue, but he offered to send me a new box, and I really want to get a new box, and I think I eventually will, but I told him I'm going to hold off now for maybe a couple months because, I'm just a little leery based on my experience, because I know this is a device that just kind of came out a couple months back. And I'm thinking, well, maybe there's some software glitches. Maybe that caused my Bluetooth issue. So I figure I'm better off letting them iron it out. I do know, most people on the user forums that that have the Stomp box, rave about it and have no issues. It's just a handful of folks that I've seen have issues. And hey, it happens. Universal Audio is a good company, but every once in a while, you get something that has a bug or a glitch. So this is going to get sent back. I've also been debating. I'm thinking maybe I'm better off getting the OX box, which is the big brother to the Stomp. The only main difference is it has a load box built into it, and plus it's on sale right now. But I already have a load box, so I'm like, okay, do I really need that? But then I was looking at the back of the OX box, and anybody who happens to own it can let me know. But it doesn't look like it has a line in. It looks like it's strictly used to hook up to an amp. So in other words, if I want to use a preamp like my OCD pedal or any other preamps that I have and connect that to a line in, it looks like you can't do that. I do, or somebody pointed out to me that that it works on Wi-Fi rather than Bluetooth, so maybe that's more reliable. I did read that they suggest that you use, I guess it's 2.4 gig Wi-Fi rather than 5G Wi-Fi. You might have better results, is what it said. And I think my Wi-Fi, when I connect to my router, kind of offers both, either or. So again, if somebody has that, you can, let me know on that. But other than that, yeah, I'm just going to think about things for a while, and I'll let you know what I do. If I do get a new stomp, I'll do another updated video. Other than that, again, well, take care and thank you for watching.